If you struggle with school motivation, keeping things organized, time management, or burnout, and if you want to improve, then this video is your guide on how to become the best student that you can be in 2024. But firstly, who am I to make this video? Things for me have changed drastically since I was in middle school. In class 7, 8, 9, I used to be a crying mess, a procrastinator, and the worst part is that I just focused on academics, but it still gave me so much stress. The only thing I did was study, and still I was not great at it. Even though I was able to score marks, I didn't know how to be efficient, and I did not know how to study in such a way so that I am less stressed and give my time to other things that truly mattered to me. Fast forward to a few years, in 11th grade, I am a young startup founder who has kept her grades pretty good. I got 98% in 10th grade with an All India rank of 98%. So along the way, I have picked up a lot of teachings that have helped me personally to become the student and person that I am today. And these are lessons that I have learned from my classmates, my friends, from people around me. We're doing this to be academic weapons, not academic victims. Let's go. So in this video, we're going to talk about three things: motivation, setting yourself up for success, and thirdly, study methods. Firstly, environment. Have a clean study space where you can study in peace. A messy space results to a messy mind. So try to romanticize your study space to feel more inspired. What I did was that I used to have two different desks here that me and my sister shared, and they looked awful. So we had this one made, and this just adds so much color to the room, and we really love how it is. I've got a softboard now on which, like we can stick stuff like this, and this just makes me feel so inspired to study. It's hardly been a week since we got this, and honestly, I think like romanticizing your study space can be such a game changer. If you are anything like me, then trying to study on the bed never helps because you're in the blanket, and how can you focus there? All you want to do is sleep, rest, look at your phone. So creating a designated workspace really helps in keeping you motivated to study, and it just helps you not lose focus. So if you have the opportunity to separate your personal space like your bed or your room from a designated workspace like a separate office or just a desk, I say go for it. I am telling you, it will be the biggest help because then you will be able to separate personal life from work, and then this will make you motivated. So whenever you sit on your desk, your brain will automatically think that, okay, this is the space where I study. So you will automatically start studying because that is how our brains work. But if you're on the bed, if you have a blanket next to you, if you have pillows, then your brain will think of sleep, right? Because that's what it's supposed to do in a bed. So try to configure your brain and your environment in such a way that you have a designated place to work and to be productive, and a designated place to rest and de-stress. The next step that I have for you is to find the perfect study planner for you. This is the place where you can write down all the important dates, everything that is coming up. So basically it should be something which is like super handy and you can take it everywhere. And whenever something important pops up, you're just able to write it down so that you don't forget it. I personally use this planner from Pinakin, and it goes without saying that check your planner every single morning so that you're up to date with all of the deadlines and all of the important dates, all the important assignments and everything else. The next tip that I have for you is try studying outside the house. Basically like a change of environment can help you so much. Try to go to a library or a local cafe or Starbucks and try to study there, because when you're there, you feel like you've come there with a purpose. So you will not want to scroll your phone when you're in Starbucks. So whenever I feel super demotivated and I know I have to get stuff done, I'll just go to a friend's place or a nearby cafe and I'll sit there and study for 3 or 4 hours. And I'm telling you, this will always get you pumped up and you will not lose your focus. So basically try to keep switching environment if it helps. Try to study in the hall, try to study in your parents' room, your sister's room. And there is actual research to support that studying outside of your house can help you increase focus. The next tip that I have for you is study with a friend. Get an accountability buddy, study together and just inspire each other. And I think that's so motivating. When I do not feel like studying for my exams, I'll just call my friend on a Google Meet and we'll study together. That is how I survived my board exams. It was just because of a couple of people who studied with me. We hardly talked, but it's a good experience to study with other people. You get motivated, you're inspired, and you genuinely feel energized because you're seeing people who are doing the same things as you. You can test each other, you can ask each other questions, revise together, and I'm telling you, this will help you so much. Another tip that I have for you is to use an app like Flora. So basically, Flora is an app where you're growing a tree, okay? So you'd set a timer for like 30 minutes, and in that, your seed becomes a tree or a plant. And in that 30 minutes, if you touch your phone or if you close that app or if you open another app, then you'll get a notification that your tree is dying. And I'm telling you, even though it sounds really childish, this will help you so much because you'll think that, okay, if I've already let my tree grow for 20 minutes, why can't I not touch my phone for another 10 minutes and focus on this instead? So this app will really help you get into a state of flow because you'll not be fidgeting with your phone. You'll just be focusing on the work that you're doing. So I highly recommend that you download this app. I have used it for a long time. I used to have the Android version earlier, and I'm telling you, it's great. Another tip that I have for you is to make a study playlist, because trust me, having a study playlist will help you so much. If you're somebody who likes to play some soft music in the background when you're studying, having something like white noise will really help you. So make a study playlist. A study playlist does not work for everybody, but if it works for you, great. Also, if you have the budget for it or if you want, try to get noise cancelling headphones if you struggle with focus. If you live in a noisy household or neighborhood, like most Indian families, then I think you'll really benefit from a noise cancellation headphones because that will help you block out all extra noise and just focus on your work. Now, let's move on to setting up for success. The first tip that I have for you is make a study routine. And by study routine, I mean that make studying your habit. If you've read the book Atomic Habits, it's the best book that will give you so much insight on how you can actually form a habit and stick to it. If you're able to form a studying routine, if you study every morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., or if you're studying at night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., then your brain automatically, when that time comes, your brain associates studying with 7 p.m. and that is how you can get on track with studying. Also try this thing called habit stacking. So basically, in the morning when you're making your coffee or you're making your breakfast, after that, associate making coffee with reading. Basically, after you're done making your coffee, you will read 10 pages of your literature book or something like that. So basically, you're stacking habits together. So when you're done with making coffee, you will move on to reading and this will help you so much. Now, talking about consistency and due dates. Setting due dates for yourself is going to help a lot so that you can stay on track with your assignments and all of your other work. So in a Google Calendar or in Notion, have a page where you're tracking all the due dates of your projects or assignments so that you're on track with everything. And of course, try to be consistent. I mean, see, honestly, if you're in grade 11 or 12, cramming for an exam one day before is gonna help you in no way whatsoever. If you wanna get amazing grades in any subject, especially science and math, then you need to be practicing for at least 2 weeks. And that is how you're gonna get amazing grades. If you just study 24 hours before an exam, trust me, you'll not be able to score amazing. So please try to be consistent. The thing that I have also done personally and I've seen so many people do is that right around their finals, they'll throw out everything else. But research has shown that if you're doing basic things that you do every day, like journaling or meditating or exercising, they actually help a lot in your cognitive function. So if you think that you'll not sleep during the exams, you'll pull all-nighters, I'm telling you that will not help because your brain will not function properly. And if your brain is not able to function properly or retain what you have learned, then how are you going to do well in an exam? So try to keep up with all of your habits even during finals. Another tip that I have for you is know what to study and when to study. So do not make schedules. I personally think that schedules are super counterproductive and I've made a whole video on it. So you can watch that video right here. And instead of making schedules, use a retrospective revision timetable. I've explained the entire concept in the video, so go ahead, watch it after this one. And that will basically tell you the best way to pick what you want to study and when you want to study instead of making schedules. Because I have never stuck to a schedule. So if schedules work for you, then please tell me your secrets. If not, then go watch that video, it will really help. Now, moving on to study methods. If I'm being very honest with you, things like note taking don't really help. And it's very ironic coming from me because I have been the biggest note taker in my life. And even today, I still take notes, but I have realized that there's a way of doing it. So instead of just writing everything or just reading from your book or highlighting stuff, will not help you. This is a passive way of studying where you're just rereading everything. You need to adapt to better study methods. So the first thing that I'll tell you is learn how to learn. It's so crazy. Schools teach us everything aside from learning how to learn efficiently and effectively. And I'm going to share multiple methods with you which have helped me tremendously. Firstly, instead of taking notes, write down questions. The best place to do this is Notion again. So what you can do is that you can write down these questions using the toggle feature, and whenever you're revising, you just look at the question and you try to answer it. Once you see the question, you answer it either verbally or just write it down quickly, and then you can check the answer that you have written to see which points you have missed or which are things that you can add from here to there. And this will help you remember stuff so well and understand stuff so well. You'll be able to understand complex concepts and also you'll be able to remember stuff. So if you're studying a subject like economics, I'm telling you this will be a game changer for you. This will help you so much. Another amazing study method that I have for you, and probably the best one, is to use spaced repetition. Basically, if you're trying to remember something or understand a concept, there is a certain time period after which your brain will start to forget it. So the more often you remember something, the longer you'll remember it for. And after you've done this for a couple of times, you will actually remember it for a long duration. There's a whole science behind this that I'll share right now. There's this book called Eat the Frog, and it basically tells you to do the most important thing or the biggest frog right in the morning. Because once you have done the hardest thing that you can do today, your brain will feel like, okay, now that I've conquered the hardest thing possible today, I can do everything else. And then the entire day is just smooth sailing. I know it takes a lot of motivation, but your motivation levels are the highest in the morning. So I like to structure my day in 3 parts. Mornings are for priorities, afternoons are for passive, and evenings are for passion. Basically, in the morning you have the highest motivation, so do the most important stuff in the morning and you'll conquer it and you'll feel so much motivated and happy. In the afternoon, I usually get into a slump. I want to take a nap, I want to relax. So I do the easier things in the afternoon which don't require a lot of motivation but some energy. In the evening, you're probably drained out, so you'll want to work on things that are passionate to you. So try to structure your day in this way. Now, let's talk about Parkinson's law. So the Parkinson's law basically says that work expands to fill the time that you have allotted for completion. So if a chapter can be completed in an hour, and if you tell yourself that, okay, I'll take 2 hours to complete this, then the task of completing that chapter will expand to 2 hours. And that is the Parkinson's law. There are many researches that support this, and I have experienced this myself. Use an app like Quizlet to make flashcards. I think flashcards are one of the best ways to remember something for a subject like biology. So it can really help you. And an app like Quizlet already has decks of flashcards which are made by other students, so you can just use those. And another amazing tip that I have for you is using the Feynman technique. It's basically a technique where you're teaching somebody else a concept like they're a child. So basically, if you're learning a super complex concept in physics or any other subject for that matter, try to teach that to a friend, to a colleague, or even your sibling if they're up for it, and try to explain that topic in a dumbed down version so that the person can understand. Basically, if you're able to take a topic and explain it to somebody, if you're teaching something to somebody, you will learn so much. So more than the other person who's actually learning the concept, you'll be the one benefiting more because you'll be able to understand the concept at such a deeper level. And I'm telling you, this method can work wonders. Somebody told me this, that if you do not have anyone to explain it to, try to explain it to yourself by looking at a mirror, or try to explain it to a stuffed toy. Because I'm telling you, when you're explaining stuff to somebody, it will just concrete the ideas into your brain, and this will help you so much. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you like the video, then subscribe for more such content, and I'll see you in the next one.